Hi guys. All right, we are back on the Dr. Dolly Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-DOC-DOLLY, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So I hate these headlines because then everybody uses it as an excuse to not go and do what they need to do. So, okay, flu season is here. We've already had some states report flu activity. I think there's even been a couple deaths already reported with the flu. So now's the time for all of us to get off our tushies and go get the flu shot. Well, we get a report today from the World Health Organization that our flu shot may be a mismatch, where it might not have the correct strains. Like, no, like, okay, but let me explain this. Nothing to panic about. It's still a good flu shot. It's a fantastic flu shot. Okay, so basically what happens when they figure out the flu and how to make the flu shot is they look at the southern hemisphere, and we usually look at Australia because Australians are really, really cool and they don't mind us looking. The other countries like, butt out. But Australia's like, hey, come on. Come into our Outback Steakhouse. I love Australians because they came up with Outback Steakhouse. I just love the Australians. They're like my peeps. So we see what happens in Australia and we go, okay, well, that looks like the flu circulating the southern hemisphere. It hits the southern hemisphere first and then it goes up to the northern hemisphere. So why don't we, make our flu shot very similar to what's going on in Australia or some of the other countries in the southern hemisphere? The problem is the team that meets to decide on which strain to select has to do it in February for us, September for the southern hemisphere. So think about that. If in February, the northern hemisphere team figures out what shot we need, Australia and the southern hemisphere hasn't even really hit flu season yet. They don't hit flu season till our summer. So we're basically having to pick our flu shot before we even see what the hell is going on with the flu. And understandably so, because companies have to make the flu, they have to, they have to make the vaccine. They don't have to make the flu, but they have to capture the flu, make the flu vaccine. So the decision to make the type of flu vaccine has to be done early. So they even tried to, from what I understand, put it off. They're like, look, we aren't really 100% sure on which H3N2 virus. And if you remember the H3N2, our flu shot covers H1N1, the swine flu, that really hit us hard in 2009. H3N2, influenza A, which was really nasty 2 years ago. An influenza B. And then there's another influenza B for the quadrivalent. That's the one that I can't say on air. It's spelled Phuket. I'm going to just pronounce it Phuket, but it's pronounced the other way. Like, just Phuket. Okay, but right, okay, I didn't say it. I didn't say short U. I said long U. So that's the quadrivalent. Okay, so we basically try to cover ourselves from H1N1 and the strains hopefully accompanied within that, H3N2 and 2Bs, with the quadrivalent for the 3-valent, 2As, 1B. So with the H3N2, we really want to get that sucker right. Unfortunately, it's a very nasty virus. It's a very pesky one. It's a very highly mutatable one. So H3N2 can have a whole variety of different viral strains. And they think that the sucker has evaded what the experts predicted. So what that means is our flu vaccine, our trivalent flu vaccine, which is probably the one you guys are going to get, may have 2 of the 3 strains not optimal. Now, does that mean you don't get the flu shot? Hell no, you get the flu shot. Because remember, what the flu shot is, and we're not talking about the nasal spray. I'm talking about the flu shot. The flu shot is where they take the vaccine or they take the virus and they kill it. And they use its like wall or shape to stimulate our immune system. So a strain change might have a different wall or different shape or different antigens to prime our immune system. But for some of our immune systems, we're like, you know what? I don't care. It all looks bad. Fine. Whatever comes my way, I'll attack it. For other immune systems, are like, nah, this doesn't look 100%. I'm going to pass. So for some of us, that flu shot is really going to be fine. The flu shot's going to do what it needs to do. The flu virus is going to come, and mind you, we're going to be hit with a variety of strains. When flu comes, it's not just one strain. There's a variety of them. So I still think our flu shot's going to be effective. And then how effective? Well, how effective is good? The average flu shot, in terms of having good efficacy, is about 60%. We're never really usually above that. A couple years ago, our flu shot was only at about like 23%. So that wasn't our finest day in medicine. But get this, if it's, let's say, 23% effective, and that means if 100 people get exposed to the flu and 23 people won't, as far as I'm concerned, that's still wonderful. Even if we had a 1% effective shot, I'd be for it. I know people say, well, there's side effects with the flu shot. Very, very rarely are there side effects, just like with anything else. But saving 23% or 40% or even 10% to me is still worth it. Now, a lot of people say, well, the flu shot gives me the flu. Okay, this is what I think happens with that. Because some of you swear, I have family members that go, the flu shot makes them sick. Well, a few things happen if that's the case. Number one is you got the flu shot too late. You were already exposed to the flu. So by the time you got the flu shot, you didn't have enough time to prime your immune system. And basically, it takes at least a couple weeks. The other thing is you started to develop your immune response to the flu shot, and it just kind of makes you feel achy. It makes you feel sick, but it wasn't really official flu where your temperature went up to 104. Or you're being a weenie. Yeah, I mean, sorry. Listen, I get the flu shot because when I get a flu, I'm a weenie. So I de-weenie eyes with my flu shot. Signs and symptoms of the flu, I mean, you could tell the time of day when that flu starts. People will say it happened at 3:35 p.m. It happens very abruptly because the viral load just kind of basically explodes and goes all over, and you feel it, and your immune system comes into play. So you get high fever, you could get cough, you could get body aches, you could be fatigued, you could get sore throat, you could get sneezing, you could get vomiting, diarrhea, you just feel like crap. So in essence, take this WHO, World Health Organization report with a grain of salt. You still need to get the flu shot, but still avoid people by at least 6 feet, wash your hands, don't go to work when you're sick, get plenty of fluids, sleep, rest, and listen to your doctor or medical provider, 1-877-DOC-DOLLY.